And you're listening to KPFA, KPFB in Fresno, 88.1 KFCF. Stay tuned for Education Today.
From the studios of KPFA in Berkeley, this is Education Today. Good afternoon and welcome to Education Today. We explore two situations today that have repercussions on the question of whether people in cities get to decide anything for themselves or whether they have to be at the mercy of big corporations on one hand and state or national intervention on the other. At least that's my interpretation of the situations we're going to explore today. One has to do with the rights of a city to decide about its services, and the other with the rights of a city to decide about its schools. First, we welcome this afternoon Lynette McElhaney, the city council member from West Oakland, who has been at the center of a controversy about choosing a different trash collector to replace the corporate giant $22 billion waste management, which is headquartered in Texas. Welcome, Lynette, to Education Today.
Thank you, Kitty. It's good to be with you.
Before we get into the details about what happened and why it's a controversy, I wonder if you can tell us why this matters. What difference is it going to make to Oakland to have California Waste Solutions rather than Waste Management be its local waste company?
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to talk about this. And Kitty, I've learned more over the last 19 months about why garbage is important than I ever thought I could. And it really does have to bringing home dollars to the city in a variety of ways. It also has to do with the number one thing that was the focus of my campaign, which is job creation and creating opportunities for people who are typically left out of the employment stream. Those are the two things that we're really driving. And the third thing is, can Oakland live into its desire to be a very green city? So this process started several years ago with the city council deciding new green goals for the city and setting out a process to secure services from a company or companies that would help us meet those goals.
I see. So you had three goals: jobs, the spending of city money, and having a green city. So it seems like that's all within the purview of the city council to decide what you want to do about that, right? City councils do that all the time, right?
Hello? Okay, there you are.
Yes. Can you hear me?
There you are. You dropped out for a moment. You said three goals.
Yeah, so you had three goals for Oakland that had to do with green and jobs and the spending of city dollars. And it seems like those are all things that city councils make a decision about all the time. Okay, so we have lost Lynette, it seems, and hopefully we will get her back in just a minute. I'll give you a little more background so she can just get right into the questions. So what happened is that after the city council made this decision, they had a 2-year deliberation process. They had hearings. They had, had people came in. The Public Works Committee met. The council as a whole met. And they made the decision by a 7-1 vote. Now, this is quite unusual, actually, in Oakland and probably most city councils, that it was so overwhelming that they decided that they would choose a local company called California Waste Solutions, which had already been providing some services to the city. And the reason for that decision was they had two contractors bid. One was Waste Management, the current company that's headquartered in Texas, and the other was this local company. And the local company agreed to provide jobs for youth, which was an important consideration in what the council wanted, to create a very green process around various portions of the waste disposal, and to charge less expensive prices. And this was quite important to everybody on the council and to the people who testified at the hearings, actually. After that was all over, they proceeded to do what cities do, which is to contract with California Waste Solutions. And Waste Management, the company out of Texas, decided they were not going to accept that decision. And so they began a campaign to undo this council's decision, which included putting petitioners out on the streets of Oakland saying things like, sign this petition, it will lower your rates because you need to get Waste Management, which, according to them, was providing lower rates, which of course was not true. That wasn't part of their proposal at all. And so they have been on the streets trying to collect enough signatures to do a referendum to overturn the city council's decision. If such a referendum were held, it would cost the city $1 million to have the referendum happen. Hi, Lynette. Sorry we lost you. I gave some background while you weren't there. I talked about the decision and what California Waste Solutions was going to provide. And so I wonder if you can, and also I talked a little bit about the fact that Waste Management is on the street with a petition campaign. So I wonder if you can give some responses to this whole process of having the loser on the bid decide that they're going to try to overturn the decision.
Absolutely unprecedented in the city of Oakland that a multi-billion-dollar corporation would seek to undo a legally binding award to the lowest responsible bidder. I don't even know if it's happened anywhere in the state, but it certainly is unprecedented in Oakland. And what the public should really know and understand is that Waste Management's PR firms are really working very hard to confound an overall frustration with the way things are happening in the city and tie it to this decision as if Waste Management is the underdog and that the city council is either corrupt or crazy or ill-informed, when we made a decision that ran contrary to a staff recommendation that was incomplete at best and misleading at worst. So we did our own independent investigation. We looked at all of the alternatives before us, and we ultimately made a decision that we felt was in the best interest of Oakland's ratepayers and Oakland's community overall.
So I said a little bit about the fact that the California Waste Solutions, the contractor that you chose, provided in their bid that they would employ Oakland youth, employ locally, and had a very green kind of green response to what they were going to do. Can you say a little bit more about that, the details of what they are deciding to do and planning to do with the contract?
Well, it would make sense, right, that people who have made their lives on extracting value from the waste stream, recyclers, would be very committed to making money and helping us reach our green goals, as opposed to a company that's made its money collecting trash and throwing it into a landfill. CWS was very innovative in the proposal that they brought forward, including helping us with some other social equity issues around illegal dumping. So CWS, just like Waste Management, looked at the request for proposals and brought us a proposal which is brought in 3 different parts. The collection of solid waste, they called mixed materials and organics, MM&O, recycled goods, those are your plastics, your aluminums, cardboards and papers, and then landfill. Where do you take the solid waste that cannot be recycled? So there's 3 separate ordinances. CWS bid on all 3, and Waste Management bid on all 3. And the CWS price came in lower. Marginally lower for residential units, maybe a couple of dollars, $3 a month, but significant savings for those commercial users, the, apartment complexes, condo complexes, businesses. And in addition to that, they added some of the features that we had added as bells and whistles that we wanted to see, and they added those in without additional costs. Things like adding a green bin for collection at multifamily units at the apartment complexes. Currently, they don't really have the opportunity to recycle their organic materials. That's only for our residences. We wanted a green bin at multifamily. We wanted illegal dumping, those bulky day pickups that single-family homes get now. We wanted that to happen for apartment dwellers. We thought that that would help us tackle the illegal dumping challenge that Oakland has. We also wanted our waste management company to provide support without additional cost, per pickup cost, to the citizens with illegal dumping as a challenge, which is built into some of the contracts in some of the surrounding communities, and we saw that as an added feature. Waste Management proposed to do those things, but they were all additional costs added on to their base price, and CWS included them in the base price.
So, and then on the local hire portion, which is really important, as an Oakland resident, I can say it's really, really important, because the big disparities by residents, ethnicity, and economic level have to do with lack of employment of people in Oakland. So I'm wondering, is there going to be a significantly greater use of local employment by the California
absolutely. We had understood that currently there is not a franchise agreement for commercial organic waste, so food waste from restaurants. And a local nonprofit that trains young people, what some people would call at-risk youth or second chancers, kids 16 to 25, or I should say young adults 16 to 25, Civicor, had been brought into that business as a way of both training their students to get good union-paying jobs, and also to provide an ongoing revenue stream for this nonprofit doing this critical work. And the new franchise agreement would have carved them out or eliminated that business opportunity for them. So we asked both of the bidders to go back and look at how they could include a portion of business to maintain this little piece of business, commercial organics, for Civicor. It's an awesome social good that we are now bringing into the franchise agreement because we want more businesses to do this, and get these things out of the waste stream. Waste Management could not figure out how to do that without raising the question as to whether or not this small nonprofit should help pay for the overhead of the overall franchise and the franchise fee. And they couldn't figure out how to do it with their existing agreement. CWS met with the Teamsters, met with Civicor, and figured out how to do it. And they were willing to share that particular income stream with the young people. I believe that's because it's core to their value. They are also based and headquartered in West Oakland, less than a half a mile from Civicor's front door, and they saw this as an opportunity to leverage the strength of our industrial corridor while providing the social benefit of making sure that our young people have hope and opportunity through job training and understanding. And I think what's really important about that to me, Kitty, is it's not just the young people who end up as drivers, who understand sorters, who develop careers in this green space, but it also provides critical revenue for the nonprofit so that the other young people who are going into construction trades or becoming poets or whatever, there's a base of money that allows us to serve them too. So there's both direct and indirect benefits of the Civicor partnership.
I really appreciate your explanation. I've actually read a lot about this issue, and you mentioned a number of things today that I didn't know, so I appreciate it very much. And I wonder if you can tell us in the last couple minutes that we have what you see doing in response to what seems to me to be bullying by this huge national corporate entity based, again, in Texas. And I want to say, I think our listeners will want to know that both of these are union contractors, so there's not a difference there. I'm wondering what you or the city is doing, or what you think people should be doing in response to this kind of bullying effort by Waste Management to distort what's happening and to get it overturned, essentially.
So, one, I want anybody who is signing the petition to understand that this is not signing that petition will not guarantee you lower rates. That's a flat out lie. Signing that petition will not encourage us to do citywide recycling. We're already doing that. It's beyond bullying, Kitty. This campaign is built on the exploitation of poor people who are in desperate need of revenue to support their families. Many of the petition gatherers out there are motivated to do so because they've been unemployed a long time. And they're being paid someplace between $2 and $6 a signature, and they can make hundreds of dollars a day in this short 2-week window. So they don't understand the bigger picture. And many of them, if you talk to them, don't even understand. They just were told that this was to lower garbage rates, which is not true. California Waste Solutions provided the lowest cost for this essential service. So people should know that. If the referendum succeeds, if they qualify 22,000 signatures, this will force a special election, which will cost the citizens even more money. And I believe that when Oaklanders find out the truth, they will not move to overturn the city council's decision, but to affirm it. So this move that has been put afoot by Waste Management seems to me to only be about obstructing and derailing this critical decision to create a garbage crisis for us. Because so long as the referendum is active, CWS cannot move forward with ordering trucks and bins, doing public education and outreach, and Waste Management gamed this system so that their contract with us terminates June 30th, meaning that we have a public health crisis July 1 if we're not able to secure another interim waste service. And it's not likely that we'll want a contract in the interim with Waste Management that has done this to deceive and defraud the public. And then we would have to find another company to try to take on something short term, which is really expensive for companies to do and to mobilize. So this is, if you won't let me have the house, I'll burn it down tactics. So it's beyond bullying. It is to no good end. Waste Management had already filed a lawsuit, and we all thought, fair game, bring your grievances to court. Let's negotiate it. Let's see if there's anything. If the council had done anything untoward, the courts would have said, look, go back, redo it. We find that this is irregular. The campaign to defraud and to deceive the people of Oakland into a referendum based on false and misleading information is downright disgusting, and it really plays upon the challenges that we have in low-income communities. We've heard reports of people being given food stamps in exchange for their signature. We've been told that people are even being told that they will get money if they will sign, that the petition gatherers themselves have subcontracted to their friends and family to try to get this done. And I can't be mad around people trying to make money, but it is that the company behind this has done it based on lies and disgusting mistruths in such a way, to me, that it has outraged every bone in my body that cries out for justice and the truth.
So, Lynette, thank you so much for giving us this explanation. And I know the best thing people can do to keep this from actually happening and causing this unnecessary, expensive, and crisis-creating referendum is not to sign the petition and to tell your friends not to sign the petition and get on your Facebook page and tell people not to sign the petition.
Instagram
and we also
and LinkedIn. But the other thing too, Kitty, not to cut you off, but if you have signed the petition and you feel that you didn't know or understand, please, you can you can withdraw your name from the petition by sending in a form saying, please remove my name. I was told this, indicate where you signed the petition, sign your name as you signed it on the petition. If you signed all three, make sure you indicate all three times that you want to remove your name. The city itself will be mounting a campaign to fight back, both in the court and against this deceptive practice, because I really think that we have to do something to protect the consumers from people who would lie to them.
Okay, so please think about sending in such a statement if you sign the petition, and we will have information about how to get flyers that oppose the petition and also how to do the kind of letter that Lynette just described on the Facebook page for Education Today, KPFA, and also on our Twitter feed. Thank you so much for being with us. I hope we will get a chance to talk with you again as this.
Thank you for covering this story and for helping people understand the stakes that are involved here. Thank you so much, Kitty.
Sure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We've been interviewing Lynette McElhaney, West Oakland representative of the Oakland City Council, about this outrageous, in my opinion, action by this national company, Waste Management, to disrupt Oakland's right to make decisions about its own expenditures. Next, we are going to be talking with two people from the Newark, New Jersey school system, a parent and a teacher who were involved in a really important action yesterday and the day before. This school district was taken over by the state of New Jersey 20 years ago, and they have had no elected school board since then, and they have been at the mercy of the governor, Christie, who you will all remember is the guy who started the traffic jam across the bridge, thinking that would get him elected president. I don't know how that works, but, as retaliation. And now he's causing traffic jams in the schools by appointing an administrator who has taken some actions that really have outraged parents and students. So I want to welcome you to Education Today. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Katie.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi. So, Kristen is a student who is with us and who is one of the leaders of the student movement. And I know you guys had an action, I believe it was yesterday, where 150 students and parents took over an intersection in Newark in order to protest the actions of the state-appointed administrator. So I wonder if you could tell us, we only have about 7 or 8 minutes. So I wonder if you can tell us briefly what you did and what impact it had on Newark.
Well, 2 days ago, actually, on September 10th, we decided to take to the streets from the Newark Students Union, and we decided to block traffic on the busiest street in Newark, which is Broad Street. We did a hard blockade with 150 students, and then there were other activists there, but our event specifically was targeted students, and we were there to protest Cammie Anderson's One Newark plan, the appointment of Cammie Anderson by Christie. We want local control back, and finally, we want Governor Christie to have a town hall in Newark. He has hosted over 130 town halls across the state, but refuses to come to the largest city, also the city that he disrespects the most, honestly, because he's scared of the people in it. The fact that he disrespects us so much is disgusting, and he refuses to meet with us.
So you're demanding to get back local control and to not implement this plan that seems to be really disrupting the city of Newark. And
Yeah.
Frankie, I wonder if you might tell us a bit about the disruption, the number of kids who aren't even able to enroll and can't get across the city to go to school and all that stuff.
Well, Katie, right now the number's somewhere measuring about 6,000 parents and families that it's affecting across the city. Transportation-wise, the plans are not effective. We have students who are ultimately how the plan is working is supposed to be giving choice, and it has taken the choice out of the situation and equation for parents. So now where parents were duped into a program where they were able to get their child into the best schools across town, those schools no longer have seats for those children. So now these parents are finding themselves having to put their children on either public transportation or to put it in failed, ill thought out transportation plans that the district is providing to families. We have been seeing, tons of complaints throughout the district from parents that they are not satisfied with this plan. They've even actually have scaled back on some of our special needs transportation for this plan. So it has been affecting families pretty much across the entire city. I mean, it especially is hitting our low-to-income family housing, low-income families that are living in the city. Those are where our communities are most being impacted. Most of the schools are being closed there. And those families are now left without a choice. I mean, you can go down to the enrollment center and see and speak to the seas of parents that come out and are frustrated with the process that still have not been placed in a school matched by a school. School started with us on September the 4th. I just spoke to a young lady today she's a freshman in high school, still has not a place to attend school. So her family now have to look at going under the cost of having to possibly put her into private school. So that's where we're at with the situation right now. And we're trying to, with efforts like Kristen and the Newark Student Union, trying to raise awareness. They do a good job leading the parents and the community on an example of how we need to step up and really need to take control of the situation.
So I know that, our listeners in California aren't always satisfied with our school districts or our school boards, but we have a school board, and we can go right down there a few blocks away and complain if they decide to close the school or disrupt things or we have charters. We don't have too many for-profits in California, but we can go protest all kinds of things, and often they do listen or they modify a plan. You guys don't even have anybody to protest to, right? Because Cammie Anderson, the state administrator, doesn't show up at school board meetings, and so you just have to accept whatever she and the governor send down to you, which sounds like a really difficult situation when you have kids who don't even have a school to go to a week into the school year. So it seems like the local control issue and you guys having some say over decisions seems really important. I want, before we get too close to the end of the program, to be sure that our listeners know kind of what your strategy is and how they can read more about this. I wonder, Kristen, if you could tell us, do you have an ongoing plan and strategy, and is there a place where students and parents here who want to support and know more about it? I know we have a lot of youth groups here who would be very interested in what you're doing, so if they want to be in touch, how they could do that.
We have multiple forms of social media. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Newark Students Union. Our Twitter handle is @Newark Students, and we also use the hashtag our Newark. We have a Gmail, NewarkStudentsUnion@gmail.com. We have an Instagram @Newark Students. So really the best way to support us is right now, since we just had an action, we need to try to regain some of the funds that we spent. We have a GoFundMe out online. We're also looking into an Indiegogo, which is where we pledge things to the people who send us money. So that way you could we're going to be selling buttons and T-shirts and all stuff like that to try to fundraise money for ourselves. But if you can, it is really definitely appreciated. And also, if you can't afford that, just go on our Facebook page, send us a like. Send us a message, and it was very appreciated. With our strategy for the next couple months, it's all in the planning process. The theme here at Newark is very sporadic. It changes all the time. So we'll let you know. If you follow us on Facebook, we'll definitely, or Twitter, we'll definitely make sure that everyone is updated.
So it's Newark Student Union on Facebook,
with an
right?
S.
Newark Student Union, 2 S's?
Newark Students Union.
Newark Students Union. Okay, that's the Facebook page. And if you want more, if you want to find these, they also, again, are, we have posted a lot of Twitter feed and announcements on the Education Today KPFA Facebook and Twitter feed. So you can also look there to find information about how to get in touch with them. They could use support. They could use likes on their Facebook page, and they could use solidarity from California. Newark is not the only district that's doesn't have local control. There are others in New Jersey, so it seems like a really serious situation. I'm so admiring of everything you have done in Newark, both of you. And
thank you.
Thank you.
In our last minute, Frankie, you're doing something on the state level about getting control back, right?
Yes, we are. We actually have been strong proponents of getting a lot of legislative kind of attention out there, getting parents and the communities aware of how important it is to get out there and vote properly, to avoid situations like this. So it's a learning process for parents. It's something that we're just normal everyday parents trying to get our kids navigated through this educational system under state authority. So to try to recoup some of that back or recoup it all back, if it takes students, if it takes parents, if it takes teachers, seniors, we'll take all the help that we possibly can get to get the word out there and let people know how important it is to keep local control, within your communities and how much of an impact that it can cause ripple effects throughout families if that local control is taken away and having that right of democracy taken away. So.
And, of course, they don't go take away local control from Beverly Hills. It's always communities like Oakland or Newark or Camden or that get local control taken away. I'm sorry we are going to have to end. I really appreciate the chance to talk with you. There is also a Newark Parents Union that you can look up, and it's really wonderful how you have so many organizations and so much support. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Kitty.
This is Kitty Kelly Epstein on Education Today. You can follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Education Today KPFA, and you will find updates on these issues. Thank you to our board operator today and to our producer, Jaron Epstein. Be safe and be well, and we'll talk with you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.